Welcome back to Soul Shift, where science meets soul and conversations are real, reflective, and rooted in growth. Today, I'm here with my co-host, Mindy Gorman-Plutzer, and we are here to share a space with you where we explore the inner shifts that shape how we heal, grow, and move through the seasons of life. Many of our listeners are women navigating midlife transitions, shifts in health, identity, energy, and sometimes even hope. And today's conversation is about something many women quietly experience: doing all the right things for their health, eating clean, taking supplements, trying all the protocols, and still not feeling better. So today, we're exploring a question many people eventually ask. What if healing isn't just about what we eat, but about how safe the body feels? And joining us today is someone whose work explores the intersection beautifully. Our guest today is Allison Samon, who many people know as Allie. Allison Samon is a functional nutrition and lifestyle practitioner who works virtually with people to get out of chronic illness, escape from mystery symptoms, and help redesign their lifestyle so they can be fit, energized, and pain-free in ways that are easy, fun, and sustainable. Allison struggled with unexplained chronic pain for over 10 years. Her remarkable healing journey became the basis for her programs: Reboot from Chronic Illness and the Chronic Illness Recovery Blueprint. She's written an ebook called Detoxifying Endocrine Disruptors, The Essential Checklist, and is featured as an author in the Amazon International bestseller, Teach Your Expertise. But her proudest accomplishment is becoming a first-time mom over the age of 40 and inspiring other women to successfully have healthy pregnancies despite being considered, as she calls it, geriatric.
Welcome to Soul Shift, where modern science, ancient wisdom, and real life align.
Soul Shift offers a peaceful pause in your week, a gentle reminder that meaningful change doesn't have to be overwhelming.
Together, we'll discover practical tools, we'll share authentic conversations, and honor the beautiful complexity of being human. This is your invitation to breathe, to reflect, and to trust the process.
Thank you for being here. Let's shift
Gently together.
Allie, welcome to Soul Shift.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here with you ladies.
We are so happy you're here, and I have a feeling this conversation is going to resonate with a lot of people who are listening today. And Allie, I want to start with your story. Your story is a powerful one, and your work focuses on helping people who are stuck in chronic symptoms, sort of redesigning their health, really. So how did this become such a personal mission for you?
Well, 10 years of struggle, right? Trying to do all of the things. And this was a time before social media. And so literally it was word of mouth. Anybody who said, go to this person, do this. I did. I went to the practitioners. I went for the therapies. I tried the different supplements and potions, and nothing was working for me. Nothing. At the same time that I started this journey seeing neurologists for chronic pain, that was when my father unexpectedly died at 50 years old. And he was, on the outside, in perfect health, ripped physique, and he was athletic, just the happiest person. Didn't have any of those lifestyle, like didn't drink, didn't smoke. And so at the same time that I started my journey, and he's driving me to neurology appointments, and suddenly he's gone. And I'm struggling with all of this pain. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I think I probably have warning signs of what we missed in him. And I have it earlier. And oh my God, I'm going to die soon. Like my life is half over. And so it set off this despair. Really, it was a despair loop of I'm in pain. And then I'm feeling alone, and I'm feeling sad and scared and not knowing what's happening. And then eventually, because I'm going to every single person, there was still like a motivation in me to fix this. What's wrong with me? What, we couldn't fix my dad. What's wrong with me? And somebody said to me, well, we'd like to do exploratory surgery because your scans are not consistent with where your pain is. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense to me. why would we explore? Like, cut me open and just look around and see what we can find when, like, I've had 8 scans and, like, you can't find anything. And so I feel like my work sort of chose me, because in that moment I was like, there's got to be something else that we missed, because look at what he looked like and I didn't look like him. And how can that happen? And then look at me, what is happening with me? And I just thought, okay, there has to be something that we're missing. And I realized, okay, I'm just looking at different symptoms in my body and not thinking of my body as like a whole. There wasn't internet, like I wasn't going online and looking for things, But I was just like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe it's not just, oh, my knee hurts. Oh, my butt hurt. Like I had butt pain, like sitting was a problem, neck pain, like it was all connected. That realization, I started to shift like, okay, so here's the funny thing. In all of this 10 years, all of the different specialists that I saw, not one person asked me about what I ate. Not one. Not one. And well, one eventually did. And that person was the one who helped make that connection, because he asked me. And I was like, why are you asking? Because of course I eat healthy. Like I work out and I eat healthy. And no, I didn't. I didn't know at the time that it wasn't the healthiest choices. But I was starting to realize like, oh, wait a minute. So when I change some of these things that I'm eating, like not having a glass of orange juice to get my vitamin C in the morning, I hated orange juice. I didn't want to drink it, but I grew up eating a healthy, hearty breakfast of good cereal and orange juice and my multivitamin. So of course I'm going to continue to do it. And when he's like, well, why do that? Why don't you have an orange? Why don't you eat broccoli? Why don't you have strawberries? I'm like, because I need the C, duh. Like I didn't even think about that it could be anywhere else. You can get vitamin C from anywhere else than a glass of orange juice that I hated, that I drank because it was good for me. And so it was that moment that I was like, oh, this is something. How come nobody knows about this? That like when you put different things in your body, you feel different. Your pain might not be there. And that's how fast, not that I was cured, but that's how fast it was like, wait a minute. I didn't drink the orange juice today and my knees didn't hurt. Oh, what else can I do? What else can I try? And so I literally was taking out things and putting in things and like, oh, this is fun. This is crazy. How come nobody knows? How come nobody knows that food can actually make your body feel better? And then it sort of became an addiction because I was realizing that I could game the system. Like I was on medications, prescription medications for pain, for migraines, and I didn't need them anymore. I slowly didn't need them anymore. So it sort of just happened for me. I had like these aha moments and then realized, okay, I've been looking at this all wrong and I've been guided all wrong all of this time. It didn't have to take 10 years.
Yeah, it's such a powerful message that you're sending, And here you are navigating all these symptoms. A lot was happening emotionally for you, right? You're watching your dad decline.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately that tragic loss, which I'm very sorry for. But wondering if this demise was next for you. But yet you never stopped thinking that healing was possible.
I never stopped thinking that healing. Well, so my dad didn't have a decline. He just was gone one day. He was in his prime. It was a complete shock. And he had severe heart disease that nobody knew he had until he had an event and just died. It wasn't even a heart attack. It was a work event. This was in New Jersey in the summer, in June, when it can be hazy, hot, and humid, when you are not supposed to be exercising and spending a lot of time outside, but it was a work event. And when he dropped me off at my neurology appointment that morning, or he took me there and then he dropped me off at the bus to go to work. And I said, nice life, Dad.
Oh.
You get to go play tennis today while the rest of us have to go to work. And that was the last thing I ever said to my dad, not knowing. And he goes, yeah, I don't really want to go, because he liked to play to compete. He didn't want to play to entertain clients and like have to let them win. So it was a complete surprise. It was really a perfect storm of the extreme heat, dehydration, and the blockages that he didn't know he had. I knew that there was just something we missed, because how does that happen to a person? How does that happen? I don't know. I just knew innately that I didn't like what I was hearing from anybody. We can do surgery, or no, we don't know. And I was like, how can you not know? How do you just not know? And I just knew that there had to be something missing. Up until that point, I only looked at food as calories. And if you're not fat, you can eat whatever you want. Or I wasn't fat. So I can have the fat-free candies that I love so much, like the Twizzler Pull and Peels. And I mean, you name it. Juju Hearts, the little red Valentine's Day, like you name it. I loved it. And I wasn't making that connection because I was so desperate to figure out what happened to him. And honestly, it wasn't until years later that I went to nutrition school that I started putting together those, like, oh no, we were fat-free. Oh no, he had a genetic predisposition for heart disease. Oh no, like all of the things we could have, should have, would have, had we known and not followed trends. And so I just was determined. Like there was a part of me that was depressed and just felt like everything like was doomed. And then there was another part of me that was like, no, I just don't accept this. This is not, it's just no. And I needed to, I guess, just reconcile what happened to him because it was so devastating for me. He was my person. And so sort of like avenging his death or something, like what happened and how do I not have this happen, even though I was afraid it was going to happen to me. And so when I realized that food was information, it's not just calories. It actually tells your cells what to do. And to not have, some cause inflammation, and that it was the inflammation, understanding like, oh, how the blockages in a heart can be affected by water and heat, right? Everything that we put in, on, and around our bodies is information telling our bodies what to do. And so those were the connections that I was making to embark on this journey that inadvertently happened.
So basically, you needed to start to connect the dots. And for you, it started with a glass of orange juice.
Yeah.
And that led you down the path of understanding, if I'm understanding correctly, that your body was responding by becoming inflamed and creating pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah.
Right?
Allie, I can resonate with that a little bit myself because 16 years ago, I was doing all the right things as well and had some symptoms that came up. And I think that so many of our listeners are probably in that same boat, right? We're doing all the right things. We're following everything we read on social media, everything that we've gotten from our doctor, and still we're not feeling right. And I want to talk to you about what I think is just really cool that I think I was certainly missing years ago, and I know your work focuses on, and that is the nervous system and how you found out that this was the missing link in your journey, right? And why do you think so many people are overlooking this? I mean, how do we let them know how important that nervous system piece is?
Yeah. Well, because when you're feeling sick, when you're feeling painful, when you're stuck in that place, it really does a number on you. Your mental health, your emotional well-being, your nervous system. And I was already in this, my world had already been rocked. And so I was definitely in a dysregulated state, which only perpetuated everything. And actually for me, it caused me to self-medicate. Some people use alcohol or cigarettes or other drugs, like sugar was my drug. And I thought that that was helping, but actually it was perpetuating this whole system of dysregulation. And so when you are just trying to treat the symptoms because you're in this like, what is happening to my body? And well, this hurts, so I have to fix this. And that's how you're actually getting more like, when you come from a place of a calm nervous system, like you cannot heal if you're dysregulated. And because I had that moment of clarity that without knowing what I was doing, I realized, oh, okay, when I had that epiphany, that actually gave me a little sense of calm, like there was a beacon in the storm, that if I could calm my body, then I'm making more smart choices instead of just trying to medicate. Well, I feel sad, so I'm going to eat these Swedish fish. I don't really have a social life because I work a lot, and so I'm going to have these M&Ms. So it was keeping me actually in a stress response, which you cannot heal from. And I think this is how we with chronic symptoms just kind of perpetuate it. And so when you start changing the information that you feed it, so with food, then suddenly the little physical changes, like I stopped having an inflamed knee pretty quickly. My brain was less inflamed or less inclined to go for those things. People don't believe this because they don't really believe that I used to be a junkie, like card-carrying member of the junkie club, that your taste buds change. And I don't try to be good, and I haven't tried to be good in, I don't know, 20 years probably. You literally change what you want to feed yourself. But that doesn't happen if you're in a dysregulated state. And so that physical health and emotional health, like, it's connected. And it's so hard to see when you're in it, when you're in the thick of it. And that's what's so easy for us as practitioners. We can see it in our clients. We're like, oh, she's in it. She's in the spin, because we have that 25,000-foot view. And we're like, oh, yeah, I know it. I know it well. I've been there. And then to get them to calm themselves, which is not an easy thing to do. To recognize, like, yeah, I'm in the spin. We can start to ameliorate things or shift things with food, for sure. But it's also that desire to know that we can change, that your body wants to change, that it wants to heal for you if you give it the right tools. It really, really wants to. And so having that trust or that faith that I can, even though for 10 years, 20 years, I've been struggling with this thing and I feel awful. I'm losing my livelihood and I'm missing out on all these events and I look terrible and I feel terrible. But wait, it's possible? It's really possible? Like, just having that like little inkling of hope that just kind of shifts your mood, shifts your energy, shifts your cravings. You will like not want the thing, the processed food, the sugar, the alcohol, the whatever. So that's the first step, is just acknowledging it, I would say. And then when you make that just one thing, changing the one thing, it kind of gets you out of that fight or flight, which you're in when you are in constant pain and constant stress about, how can I fix myself? What's wrong with me? It's less about fixing yourself and more about, why is this happening? Why is my knee so inflamed? Why can't I sit down for, to commute or watch a movie or have dinner? Why am I so uncomfortable all the time? And so your body is talking to you rather than, I had that of like, just being so angry with myself. Like, I was in my 20s. So why can't I walk? Why can't I do this? I was in an adult kickball league and I couldn't play. And because it hurt and I wanted to socialize. And I was like, I just felt just so taken out of where I should be. And it was a lot of shoulding on myself. And I think we do that when we're chronically ill. I should be better by now. I should be able to do these. I should be able to fit into those clothes or do this activity or be done with this, because people get annoyed with you. I was a complainer. So people, are tired, especially when it's pain. You don't see it, chronic pain. So it's like this invisible illness. And it's like, come on, just come or just like stop complaining or whatever. But I think that the real healing, it's not just what you put on your plate. It's believing that there are things that you can do for yourself, starting with that mindset shift. And I think that's what inadvertently happened for me. Because once your body feels safe, then you can reduce the inflammation. Then you can start to rebuild that trust of, oh, look, and I think it happens really organically. Like, oh, look, I just got up to answer the door without going, yeah. Or went up the stairs and I didn't have any trouble. And you start to notice all of the little wins, all the little signs of healing that your body is doing for you. And it happens in like little whispers. And you're like, look at me. And then when you acknowledge that, hey, look at me. I just walked up those steps. I didn't have any pain. And we don't notice it, right? So it's putting all of these things together.
And you're talking a lot about mindset shifts. And what I've experienced, not only for my own healing through my own journey, but with the work I do with my clients, so much of it is mindset work. Those mindset shifts happen when we stop focusing so much on what we can do, but what we need to let go of. Because everything you're describing, the questions, what's wrong with me? What am I doing that's wrong? They all require an unlearning and a letting go and looking inward, right? We can't recognize what we don't see.
Right. And fortunately, I think we have been trained to recognize that in our work with our clients. Sometimes when I see somebody in a spin, they're in the like, this is wrong and this is wrong, what I call stress vomit. And they're just like, blah, and it's all of the things. And I'm like, oh yeah, I get it. And I know that we can help them. And it's sort of like, kind of like dominoes. It's this like ripple effect that like, this is going to come into line and then this is going to line up and it's just going to keep unfolding for them in a positive way. But not if they're in this like, ugh. So I love using various tools to get them out of it. Sort of energy medicine, energy healing. One of my absolute favorite, if you guys know the Hawaiian prayer for forgiveness, Ho'oponopono, please share it. So I will ask a client when I see, I'm like, okay, can we just stop? Let's just stop talking about, it's not about food so much. I'm a nutritionist and so much of my work is not about food. Because again, you can't even make that good choice if you're in this place because you want the thing that's going to make you feel good in the moment, not realizing like that's going to actually make you feel worse longer and that's going to actually make you feel better faster, but you can't see that. And so it's like, okay, can we just stop? Can we just feel your feet on the ground and your back against the chair and let's just take some breaths. Now, the Ho'oponopono, it's asking for forgiveness, but it's taking responsibility for your life and making change. The way that it's taught, I do it a different way. Because when I first heard it, I thought, what do I need to ask for forgiveness for? I'm the one in pain. I'm the one who's sad. I'm the one who was hurt. So I don't feel like I need to ask for forgiveness, right? But if you think about it, it's about making things right. So it's the same words, but in a different order, which resonates with me a lot better. And so I like to say, I love you, blank. So who your name is. So it could be, I'll do me. So I love you, Allison. And then it's, I'm sorry for blank. And so I like to think of it as a program. So we are high performance machines and we run on an operating system, not unlike your phone. And we've gotten into these habits or these conditions, these symptoms, partly out of necessity. They served a need for us at one point, and sort of like a rocking chair, like it gets those grooves and it just served us. It was a coping mechanism back in the day. So I'm sorry for running this program that. So that's how I change it. I'm sorry for running this program that I self-medicate with candy. I'm sorry for running this program that I think I'm not a good mom. I'm sorry for running this program that I run late all the time. Sorry for fill in the blank, whatever it is. Thank you for showing me I'm still running it. Because when it's an operating system, we're just on autopilot. And a lot of us are in that space of, oh, you just do things because you've always done it. You got into that coping mechanism and you're in these habits, not realizing that it doesn't serve you and it's keeping you stuck in the spin, in the mindset of, no, my body is hurt. My body is sick. No, I need that medication or I'm going to have pain. No, I have to eat that because I don't have time to make anything healthier. No, whatever it is. Please forgive me and know that I'm deleting it now. I'm deleting it now. I am done with that operating system. I'm leveling up. So it's, I love you. I'm sorry. Thank you for showing me I'm still running it. Please forgive me and know that I'm deleting it now. So that can be extremely powerful. You can do it for yourself. You can do it for your spouse, your mother-in-law, your mother. You can do it for anybody that you're in conflict with or anytime you feel stuck. And you just do it in your head. Like nobody needs to know. I really like to do it while driving or doing dishes or in the shower or if you can't sleep at night. There's lots of ways you can do it. What I find that it does is that pressure of why am I not better yet? What is wrong with me? It's no. I'm sorry for putting all of this pressure on myself. I'm sorry for thinking that my body can't heal. Thank you for showing me I'm still running it. Please forgive me and know that I'm deleting it now. And so you just do it like a few times over and over. And there's this like release.
Yeah.
It can help you fall asleep. You just feel lighter. There's other tools that I'll use too. I'll do divine light healing method, where we're literally finding where we've stored it in the body. Because after so much time, it just becomes baked into your tissues, especially with chronic pain. And so finding out where is it in your body. People with health issues, chronic pain, fatigue, migraines, like each person is not the same as the diagnosis. They're not like a dime a dozen. Everybody with chronic pain is all like this, and this is the route to healing. We know that unless they're siblings, their genetics are going to be different. Their health history is going to be different. Their current lifestyle is going to be different. Their diet might be different. But what is common, what is the same for every single one is that there was some kind of event, maybe multiple, sometimes multiple events of an illness, of a trauma, of a tragedy, of something where they can go, when we peel back all the layers and kind of look at the history, look at it as a timeline, oh my goodness. It's after this, everything started to change for me. Everything started to change for me. And when we can find where that moment then lives in the body, we can start to release and start to have the nervous system come back online. So that we can have less inflammation in the body, so that we can make better choices, so that we can set up conditions for healing. And then symptoms start to fall away much faster than being in that stuck space of, okay, so here's your meal plan, and this is what you're going to eat. And then they're like, that lasts like a week, and I don't like this, and that's too hard. And yeah, I did it for a little bit, but and these supplements are so expensive, and blah, blah, blah. Right? I don't feel like any healing protocol can be done if you're just looking at it as like what's on your plate. There's so much more to the story.
Yeah, that's great. And it comes down to, as we've been just talking about for the last few minutes, nervous system regulation. But bottom line, what that does, it helps us feel safe and in control. And when I say in control, I don't mean the way we control something when we are in an active addiction, right? But we are controlling the space within which we can feel safe, right? So that allows me now to shift to talking about food and emotional eating.
Yeah.
Because I really, really appreciate your approach and I am fully aligned with it. I love how you talk about cravings and emotional eating. So much today in the wellness, and I say that with air quotes, wellness messaging world frames cravings as something we need to control. We need to be disciplined. We need to exhibit tremendous willpower and use the word eliminate in a very negative sense. The messaging frames the behavior as the problem to be fixed, whereas the behavior is really a solution to the dysregulation that we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We're using your sugar addiction or your reliance on sugar as your coping mechanism. That was a solution for you. It turned out to be problematic because it created all this inflammation in your body. But when you are trying to figure out how to be safe in a world you don't feel safe in, you're not thinking about nervous system dysregulation. You're thinking about how do I get through the moment. So that's why eating disorders, disordered eating behaviors, any kind of addiction is really the solution to the problem. It's not the problem. So I'd love for you to speak to this.
Yeah. Well, why? Why are you self-medicating?
Of course.
I made all of the excuses of, well, I can. Look, it's 0 calories or 0 fat. Like, and they were on sale. Right? It was always on sale. And so, the joke I tell is like, I never had to go to a back alley and meet a guy to get my drugs. I just walked into, the drugstore, CVS, and they were on sale. And every week I would do that. And so it was the thing that gave me energy. That's what I was using it for. I did it for 2 things. It was for energy because I worked long hours. I used to work in television and I worked long hours in a dark room or a dark set. I didn't drink coffee. I didn't drink soda. I don't smoke cigarettes. So I was a healthy person in my mind. I didn't do all those things. So I needed something to pick me up. And it never occurred to me for 1 second that there was anything wrong with that, as long as I worked out.
But what you're speaking to is really diet culture mentality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And so when I started to have that, like, oh, I don't need this, it's funny to see when you see the difference between what sugar does in the body. It was actually some muscle testing that this person who I was working with for my pain, and he showed me what the sugar did on my leg, not even in my body. He had it on my leg and I had no power. I could not move my leg. I am strong. He held my leg and he's like, resist me. And I was like, okay, I'm strong. And then he put candy on my leg and I had nothing. And I was like, what is happening right now? And so I was like, oh, that's interesting. What is that doing? And so, to speak to what Mindy is asking, what are we doing? Why are we using the things that we're using? For me, it was loneliness. I was lonely. I needed energy. And it was comfort. It was medication. Everybody has their different things. So for some people, it's cheese. I love cheese. And give me everything cheese. But why? Because it brings them back to a memory of something that was really comforting to them. They're getting that little morphine hit from the cheese, right? Whatever that is. And finding what are other things that can feed your soul. What else? Is it your animals? Because then I realized I have cats and I just, stick my face in them and that is a high as well, just, ooh. So what are the other things that can lift you up, that can bring you joy? And what if it's not outside of you? That's the craziest part, right? What if I don't need an outside thing? What if I can find that in myself? And that's, I think, where like the Ho'oponopono or just doing a lot of we focus a lot on wins with my clients. What are we celebrating? Because when you feel awful, when you're in chronic pain, it's all you feel. That's all you want to talk about is like, this hurts and I have this headache and oh, this happened again. And it's like, okay, I know. We're going to work on that. And I'm not discounting any of that. But what have you noticed? Oh, well, I was able to bend down and tie my shoe and that didn't hurt. Or I went to the mailbox and I was able to walk down the driveway and go to the mailbox. I'm like, you did? You did? Like, you haven't been able to leave the house. You did? And it's like, well, yeah. And like, it's the little things, realizing that, oh, I can do that. And so getting more excited about all the things that you can do kind of feeds you, fuels you. And so you spend less time looking for a thing to fill that void of love, of safety, of belonging. And you're able to acknowledge it on your own. Celebrate yourself. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen right away. It's a retraining, right? You're retraining your brain to think about your body and yourself and your healing journey in a different way. And forgiving yourself, I think. And that's, again, what the Ho'oponopono is. I'm sorry that I did that. I fell into this crutch, but that was what I did then. And it worked for me then. But I'm not that person anymore.
It was the best I could do at the time. So what you're talking about is bringing in tremendous compassion.
Yes.
Compassion.
Yes.
Which is very hard for a lot of people to develop. We throw that word around a lot. We throw around the self-care a lot. But there are people that are so disconnected from the wisdom of their bodies that what we're asking them to shift their mind around is really very difficult. They've got to really let go of the attachment they have to their story first. Don't you agree with that?
100%. You just nailed it. Yeah. I was attached to the story, and I think a lot of people are, their diagnosis. I didn't have a diagnosis. I had what they called unexplained chronic pain. I was searching for 10 years for a diagnosis. What a waste of time that was. Right? We're attached to our story. I have pain. I have this. I have that. I am sick. We have to shift that identity. Going back to like diet culture, that's like dieting down so you can fit into the dress. Then it comes right back because you didn't make that identity shift. You're just trying to do the thing. And that's, I think, the journey that I was on was like, give me the meds so I can feel better. But it wasn't fixing anything. We're trained in root cause. And so why is the body so inflamed? Why is your body so unhappy? It's that identity shift of, yeah, I'm not this. I am in this miraculous high performance machine that really wants to heal for me if I just change the information that I'm feeding it here and here.
Absolutely. But then there's the fear factor too, right? This behavior has been serving a purpose, right? It's helping me to check out of the pain. Who will I be without it?
Yes. You get a lot of attention. You get special seating, right? I got a new chair in my office because I needed to be ergonomic, right, for all of my pain. And so who will you be, right, when you're just like everybody else who doesn't have pain?
It's where the mindset work comes in.
It is a big mindset shift. Yeah. And it's a little letting go. And so some of like the energy work that I will do with people, I know I was one of those people who you sort of get calcified because you're attached to your symptoms. You're attached to, no, I don't sleep. Like I have a woman I'm working with. I've known her for 4 years. We've been working together for 6 months now. She doesn't sleep. She has horrible sleep. And she's so attached to that. I feel like there's a lot of that is, no, this is how it's always been. And so, there's a general guideline with chronic illness that for however many years you've been sick, you need that many months to heal. So if it's been 20 years, you can expect it's going to be 20 months to like make that change be permanent. And so it's a chiseling away of that. And there's a little bit of, I don't know if arrogance is the right word, but it's sort of like, this is who I am. You kind of don't believe because you've tried all of the things. You've done it. Like, I don't want to discount anything anybody has been doing because they are putting big effort into it and trying the protocols. And especially now, like there's so many ads and videos and AI that are like, we can do it, we can do it. And then you try it and you're like, no, I couldn't do it. And so when I say, okay, well, we want to go and we want to dig in and see like what is stuck in there. And there's a little, well, I've done everything already, so I know that's not going to work on me. And then if you're open, I think that's really important, is just to believe that your body wants to change, believe that it's possible, and be open to the possibility that you haven't tried everything. You haven't done everything because otherwise you would have it. And, it's that release of, I don't need to hold on to this person anymore. What do I have to gain by being the painful person? The person going for scans all of the time, therapies all of the time, medications all of the time, right? Missing out all of the time. What will I gain when I can be free in the world? And it's a little bit scary, I think, to think of yourself as this other person, even though you want that thing so badly, but you don't trust because it hasn't worked before. You don't trust that it can happen for you too, but it can. It truly can. It's a multifactorial approach. You have to have the emotional piece. You have to have the mindset piece, along with the dietary and lifestyle piece, to make that shift and have it be permanent and have it be a new way of being instead of just another diet and another thing that you did for a little while that used to work and doesn't anymore.
Thank you for that.
Something I'm really hearing from both of you, the way you approach your clients in your practice, is it just begins with restoring trust in your body, right? Listening, understanding what your body's communicating, and just trusting that your mind and your body are on the same page. And I think that's really beautiful. It's just a really gentle approach to overall wellness and to healing. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, your body isn't your enemy. It's where you live, right? It's your messenger. It's speaking to you all of the time. There's so much noise that we stop paying attention to the symptoms until it's screaming at you, and then you can't not listen to it. Then we just want to shut it up with a medication to numb it. That's the other thing that the candy would do, like numb the pain, but really exacerbate the pain. But healing definitely becomes possible in ways that you haven't expected when you start to listen and honor what your body needs, and a little bit of letting go of the old that doesn't serve you anymore.
Yeah. And I think that's the one gentle shift that can help begin restoring trust in the body. Recognizing that there are messages, parts of our story that we can let go of. We can turn the page on that part of our story and have a blank page and start to write what can become our happily ever after.
Yes. I say that all of the time. It's a new chapter. You get to write the story. That's the old story. What are we writing now? What's new? And literally, you can write that out and do that as an exercise.
Yes.
What does the new me do? What do I look like? What do I feel like? What do I get to do as this new person? To really just melt it in, bake it into your DNA. So when you're doing your Ho'oponopono or you're doing that, like envisioning, it's so important. You have to see it so that you can believe it, right? I'll believe it when I see it. Well, see it, and then you'll believe it. And then you'll be more likely to do all of those things.
Allie, I have loved this conversation. It has been so rich. It's been so warm and loving and approachable. And I love all of that about your approach to your clients and really just their healing process. So thank you for this conversation.
Thank you so much.
And for anyone listening who wants to learn about your work, where can they find you?
Well, there is a step-by-step guide that I've created to give you that starting place, because when you're in the soup, you're like, right? And so one of the first steps I encourage people to take is to understand where they're coming from. Why are we engaged in these habits? Where is this pain coming from? Because again, chronic illness rarely comes from one thing. It's usually multiple things, a combination. So it's the inflammation, maybe food sensitivity, stress, overloaded detox pathways. And so to take you out of that overwhelm, I've created the Roadmap to Chronic Illness Recovery. And it's a guide that I'm offering to your clients. You can get it for free at chronicillnessrelief.com.
Incredible resource.
Roadmap to Chronic Illness Recovery. Yeah.
It's great. Allie, thank you so much for sharing not only your story and your wisdom, but your energy. It's contagious. And I know any person that is working with you is blessed to be one of your clients. So I thank you. Thank you so very much for being here and being a good friend to all of us as well. And to everybody listening, if this conversation resonated with you, we invite you to share it with someone who might need a reminder that healing is possible. And this is Soul Shift, where science meets soul. And healing isn't about becoming someone new. It's about coming home to who you've always been. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for sharing the sacred time today.
We hope something in this conversation touched your heart
And offered nourishment for your soul's journey.
Remember, transformation is most effortless when it happens one tender shift at a time.
Until next week, we invite you to carry one insight from today into your life.
Not as a task.
Think of it as a superpower to yourself.
If something resonated, we'd love to hear from you. If you're joining us on YouTube, feel free to leave us a comment below.
Your words ripple outward, offering connection and comfort to others walking this path beside you. If Soulship feels like home, please subscribe and consider leaving us a review.
Your support will help us reach more hearts that need to hear they're not alone.
We're holding you in love, so know you're not alone. Your journey matters. May your heart be filled.
And may your path be filled with grace.